As a matter of fact, Nevada casino companies are managing many of the Indian casinos in California. I don't think they're doing it to hurt Las Vegas. They're doing it to help Las Vegas. They are prospecting California, more California customers for Nevada. So you put a casino in San Pablo, you're going to get a lot of gambling in the casino, a lot of money. The governor's going to get his share, but it's coming out of California pockets, and the people of San Pablo will make more trips to Las Vegas rather than fewer trips to Las Vegas. It's quite simple. Las Vegas is growing as gambling is growing across America. We are not losing out because New York wants slot machines at a racetrack. We're not losing out at all. So, point number one, the gambling money is coming out of California pockets. Now, after the money runs through the casino, does it stay in California pockets? And the answer is most of the money leaves the state. Where does it go? Well, we know the workers are going to be Californians, but guess what? They pay federal income tax. That's gambling money that goes to Washington, D.C. Well, they also pay state taxes, so if you have a gambling establishment in Southern California, that money's going to Sacramento. Also, the governor's 25%. San Pablo sends the money to Sacramento. Sacramento doesn't turn around and send it back to San Pablo. They turn around and send Alameda and Contra Costa County perhaps 7% of the money back because 7% of the population's there. They get state services, but the bulk of the money sticks. It leaves. It leaves. Money also leaves to other jurisdictions because a casino has to buy equipment. A casino, and all of the Indian casinos, are based on slot machines. They have to buy slot machines. Slot machine costs $14,000. A slot machine lasts 3 years. That's approximately $4,500 a year. The value of a slot machine for 1 year, about $4,500. Slot machines are not made in California. Slot machines are made all around the world, but the two biggest companies in America are in Las Vegas, Bally's, and Reno, IGT. If a California casino, perhaps in San Pablo, has 25 slot machines, that's $35 million for purchasing the machines. The money goes to Nevada. So that's gambling money that's from residents of San Pablo area going to Nevada. Then the Native Americans, the profits, 30%, it'll go to Native Americans, but of those profits, 1/3 goes to a management company that is a Las Vegas casino company. The Palms Casino is the major company. And then up the road here at Thunder Valley, we have Stations Casinos, a Nevada company taking 25% of the revenues out. Well, you start with a formula that says 100% of the money's already in California, and then and already in your local area. Then you start distributing it around California. Then you distribute large chunks of it to Washington, D.C. and to Nevada. California's left with less money. Just direct flows, less money. And it's amazing that the California proponents talk about multipliers. They say, oh, we have a job, it's multiplied twice. Guess what? If an economy loses $100 million because there's a casino there, because of the flows, local people gambling and the money going out, that's multiplied twice too. It's a double loss because the money could have been spent 2 times here. So when you look at gambling, you have to ask the question, where's the money come from? Where's the money go to? And then if you see negative flows, it's bad for the economy, don't do it. But if you see some positives, you might want to stay in the formula a little longer and consider some other costs. When you put a casino in a community, the rate of compulsive gambling in that community will double. That is a conclusion from the study by the National Gambling Impact Study Commission, a national survey of people all around the country and questions about compulsive gambling. They found in communities with casinos, compulsive gambling rate was doubled. You put a casino in a community in California, and they said within 50 miles. It's sort of like a county. If you put a casino in San Pablo, Contra Costa, and Alameda County, compulsive gambling rate will double. Well, the proponents of the casinos say, oh, the compulsive gamblers, they're just such a small portion. They are. They are. They're 0.6% of the population compulsive gambler, 0.7% problem gambler. 0.6% of the population of Alameda and Contra Costa counties, 10,000 people. We double compulsive gambling, we have a new 10,000 compulsive gamblers. It's only 0.6% of the population, and an extra 12,000 problem gamblers. It's only 0.7% of the population. Of course it's a small percentage, but 10,000 people. Now what harm do they do? Well, 27% of them attempt suicide. And considering 100 of them, that's 27 suicide attempts. I think the literature on suicide shows for each 20 attempts, one is successful. We might suggest that of the 10,000, we're going to have 100 new suicides in Contra Costa and Alameda County if a casino is put right in the community. Well, does this cost anybody anything? Well, there's a lot of crying and suffering, but there's a lot of economic cost. I did a survey of compulsive gamblers in GA, found the average age was 42. If that person commits suicide, that person is not working for 23 years. A person is worth their salary. If the average salary is only $30,000 a year, that's $690,000 of economic value lost to your community. Your community lost $690,000 for one suicide. 100 of those a year? Whew. Let's see, 69 million economic loss. Just extra suicides because of extra compulsive gambling. But compulsive gamblers cost society basically $10,000 each. Compulsive gambler costs society in bad debts, thefts, and in missed work that they're compensated for, or they quit and they're non-productive. So $10,000 times a new 10,000 people, that's $100 million. And then in addition to that, problem gamblers add a cost. So we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars being lost to a two-county area because of the presence of a casino. Additionally, there will be new crime because of the casino, whether the crime's done by compulsive gamblers or not, and this will add to the economic woes of an area. So just generally, the money flowing out because of a casino is so much more than the money coming in. But you ask me, you are from Las Vegas, how can you be saying things? And I'll say this, I'm at the Trough in Las Vegas. I'm a professor at the State University, and I'm eating of the money that is coming into Las Vegas with gambling and gambling taxes. But this is the point. The money's coming into Las Vegas. It's not flying out of Las Vegas. We have 37 million visitors a year from all over the world. They stay in Las Vegas an average of 4 nights and 4 days. They spend only $600 on gambling, but they spend much more on other things. They bring something like 20 million into our economy, and we consume it. And 90% of our gamblers are from somewhere else. The formula will work for California when you can find a situation and structure a situation where you can get more than 50% of the gamblers from another state. You can't do it. You can't do it. A reason you can't do it is because you got so many people here. You're the biggest state in the union. You can support 75 or 100 casinos just with California dollars. And if I were running a casino and just thinking of my bottom line, I'll be darned if I'm going to advertise in the New York Times and ask somebody to fly to Vegas or help him pay for his ticket to fly him in from New York when I can advertise in the San Francisco paper and all the person has to do is jump in their car in the half hour, they'll be at my casino. I'm going after that San Francisco person. I'm not going after the person in New York. Tell you what, in Las Vegas, if we went after our local residents, we would find that we have enough local residents to support about 5 or 6 casinos. We have 200 casinos. We have to go to the outside. California, it's the exact opposite. You have the population that can support probably double the number of casinos you already have. Certainly you have enough people to support casinos that will make the Native American tribes running them wealthy, because most of the tribes have 100 or 200 members. And $100 million, which is a medium-sized casino, can take care of 100 people very, very well, even after you chop all the profits down. You basically get 100 people that are affluent. There's one tribe in Minnesota that gave every member $800,000 a year out of the casino revenues. It was the only casino in Minnesota that was in the Minneapolis metropolitan area. And they said, oh, this is great for Native Americans, and so forth. And of course it was great for them, but they were a Sioux tribe. And the history was that there was an ambush of white settlers back in 1862, and then the army came in, rounded up the Indians in Minnesota, and they shipped them out to the Dakotas. But a few people hid in the woods. And back in the 1930s, when the Roosevelt administration adopted the Indian Reorganization Act, they reorganized their tribe, they authenticated themselves, and they created a Sioux tribe right in the middle. It eventually was surrounded by the city of Minneapolis. So they were a couple hundred people. They didn't give a penny to the Sioux Indians in Pine Ridge and Wounded Knee, who are in a county that is the poorest county in America. They don't give a penny to those people. They keep the money. They say, we are a nation, we are a nation. And I don't begrudge them being wealthy, but I say, my goodness, my government asks me to pay taxes so we can share. These Indians can avoid direct federal taxes. Their employees pay federal income taxes, and individually they pay federal income taxes. But there's no Indian taxation of the gaming operations, federal taxation. I'm saying, share it. Share it with the Sioux in South Dakota, and make me feel good about it. Make me feel that this is something for the good of Native America. But unfortunately, I looked at the statistics of Casino Executive Magazine in 1997, listed every casino in America, how big the casino was, floor space, number of machines, number of employees, number of tables, number of hotel rooms. And I took out the 50 largest Indian casinos. Then I took, from the population statistics, the 50 largest tribes. Guess what? There's very little overlap. It's like two different lists. Smaller tribes, there were 4 or 5 of the larger tribes that were on both lists, but they were down toward the bottom. Out of the 20 biggest Indian casinos, only one, the Choctaw in Mississippi, was run by a tribe that was one of the 20 biggest tribes. The revenue's not being shared with Native America.